All right, what we see on the screen is synchronous versus asynchronous technologies. This is actually just kind of wedged in there, this little concept, and it's really important to understand what these terms mean because we deal with asynchronous and synchronous communications. We deal with asynchronous and synchronous encryption methods, and so it's synchronous means that we are synchronized, that we in technology terms, it means that we are talking at the same time, that I'm on video chat, you're on video chat, we're talking with one another. Asynchronous is much more like email or a text message. You send it to somebody and then later on they take a look at it. And that's what they kind of cover here is this idea that when you're doing FaceTime or something like that, that's synchronous communications. It's real time, as they say. And then asynchronous is chats and other things. Both have their advantages, right? Both, it's like saying playing phone tag. We don't really say that anymore too much, but to say that I called you and left a message, and then you called me and left a message, and then I called you and left a message, and that's an asynchronous communication because we're leaving messages, and that's a drawback to asynchronous. However, it's also great that you don't have to be contacting the person right then at that time. For instance, if you had no voice messaging and somebody called and they just didn't pick up and you couldn't leave a message, then you would have to call again and try to talk to them in person. So both have advantages. And then also on this is private versus public technologies, using something that is out there for everyone and using something that is private. So here's your public asynchronous communications, blogs and forums, social media on Facebook and such. And then your private asynchronous email, SMS, private social media posts. And then private asynchronous, actually using VoIP or video conferencing or calling somebody, and then public synchronous in chat rooms or live streaming. Very simple concepts, but very important to understand what these terms mean so that later on when we talk about networking and encryption, you have a solid idea of what synchronous and asynchronous refer to.